Today's guest is Kristy Lee Audette. Kristy is part of the current Vancouver music scene. On this day, she was kind enough to talk to us about everything that she is currently up to, including her own new project,
Wrong,
including shows she has played with Canadian legends,
Sloan,
as well as international superstar, Adele, as well as working with 604 Records.
I'm curious, when you were just starting to think about being in bands, what kind of music were you listening to then, you know, early teenage?
Yeah, I guess probably in and around grade 5, grade 6 was when I kind of figured out that bands were like a thing. Like I just listened to music on the radio and I knew I loved it, but that whole epiphany that those were like bands, I don't know, it's like the separate thing or something. That happened around like grade 5, grade 6. And it went pretty much straight to Green Day. And it didn't really leave.
Was that your first love?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I did get into No Doubt too, but it was like all that kind of in 1997, 98. I was glued to Much Music, and the Hitching a Ride music video had come out, and I was just like, these guys are the coolest. And a lot of my musical discoveries happened through Weird Al Yankovic as well. And Green Day, again, the alternative polka, they do Basket Case at the end, and the music video is just like clips, like fast motion kind of time-lapse clips of like the different tunes that he's doing the parodies of, and it's like their actual music videos. So at the end it's like Green Day doing Basket Case, and that video is so cool. Like they just look like they're in the mental institution, and the coloring is like all kind of pastel-y and weird. I don't know, I just loved it. And I was like, who are these guys?
That was such an exciting time in music, right? That was a little bit post Nirvana.
Mm-hmm.
And
Nirvana I got into later, but it was a little bit too weird for me at that young age.
Right.
But Green Day really resonated.
Awesome. Very cool.
Yeah, it was a great time.
Do you still listen to Weird Al now? Like, have you followed his career?
So me and, do you know Talent Time?
Yes, yeah.
So I play in the house band for Talent Time sometimes.
That's right.
And so I've gotten to know Paul Anthony, and him and I kind of got to be friends through our Weird Al impersonating, because I'm...
Oh, that doesn't surprise me at all.
So he goes under the moniker Weird Pal, and I Weird Gal. So when Weird Al was doing his Ill-Advised Vanity tour, he didn't have a Vancouver date, but he had one in Seattle.
Okay.
So Paul and I both dressed up as Weird Al, went down to Seattle.
Oh, man.
And staged a discount meet and greet outside of the venue before we got tickets, and like we went and saw the show too.
Right. Did you get to meet Weird Al?
No, that was part of the motivation for this weird stunt. But I brought my ukulele, so I was just singing. Like I learned all the lyrics to Everything You Know Is Wrong, which is like a super wordy, long Weird Al tune.
Oh, okay.
And the ukulele chord. So I'm just out there like singing with everybody in the crowd, and then Paul's doing his hosting, trying to get people pumped up, asking people questions, just getting them engaged.
Oh man, is there any film of that?
He filmed, yeah. We brought his GoPro out and we filmed it all. He was gonna edit it all together. I don't know where the progress is with that, but we definitely filmed some of it. Oh. Yeah, ain't nothing gonna break my stride. So I came out here to go to jazz school, and then. Also, my mindset had all changed, and it really bothered me that I had trained all this time to be a trumpet player, but couldn't really play anything unless the sheet music was in front of me. So unless I was like in a very controlled, specific situation, I couldn't do what I was best at.
Right.
So I just needed to get better at making it up, playing off the page, and things like that. So then part of that was... Yeah, before I got into jazz school, I was working at HMV downtown in the jazz classical room at that big megastore on Robson and Burrard.
Yeah.
And there I met Kevy from Fake Shark.
Okay.
Which ended up being a really cool, fun connection to now I record and arrange horns for 604 Records and stuff.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. 604 Records. So 604 Records is okay. So we'll start over. So with 604 Records.
Because, I mean, the first thing that I recorded on there was for Carly Rae Jepsen.
Okay.
For her album that Call Me Maybe was on. They recorded like 30 songs or something more just with Kevy. So he brought me in to record horns on a few songs that he had been recording with her. And then they were just going to pick from the so many songs that they had recorded to put on that album.
Did any of the horns make it?
Yeah, those songs did not make it onto that album. the album comes out, Justin Bieber tweets about it, and then it's just like huge.
That's right.
And I was like,
yeah.
damn it. And then I don't know if you know Rob Calder.
No.
He's another trumpet player. He used to play with the Saltines and became a music industry guy. He had Boompa was his record.
Oh,
thing
okay.
that he
Well,
was
yeah,
doing.
I've definitely heard of both
Yeah,
for sure.
so that's Rob Calder. So he messages me too, and it's just like, hey, do you want to play trumpet with Sloan? I'm just like, yeah, you bet. But then I heard nothing. The line just kind of went dead. I'm like, oh, they probably found other people. That's
Right.
fine. The day of the show, I get a message from Gregory, and he's just like, so you still, like, I don't remember if I contacted you.
Wow.
Like, are you still down to play? I'm like, yeah. I'm supposed to be playing like a Rihanna tribute at the Biltmore later on that night, but they were playing early enough that I was able to do both.
Okay.
But yeah, so I show up at soundcheck.
Was that at the Imperial?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I show up at soundcheck, find out what they want me to do, which is everything you've done
Well, so
wrong.
at this point, you did not know the songs that you were
No.
gonna do. Oh, okay.
I mean, I've heard everything you've done wrong before, but I've never tried to play it.
Right.
Like everybody knows
right.
that. So yeah, show up at soundcheck. They give me the rundown of what it is I'm supposed to do.
The band themselves?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I meet everybody. I rip home, shower, learn and memorize the songs because I don't want to have a music stand up there. I think that looks lame.
Right.
It's like there's nothing rock and roll about a music stand. So yeah, try to memorize it. Show up, nailed it. Rip over to the Biltmore, played a Rihanna tribute, go home.
Nice. So is that some of the bigger shows, like audience wise, that you would have played?
Up until that point, yes. With Sloan, I did get to play with them 2 more times.
That's what I was thinking. I kind of thought there was more than once.
So that was a big show. Their show that I played with them next in Toronto was bigger though. And what happened there, I just had a kind of a dry spell. I wasn't really doing anything, and I was just like jonesing a bit, and had some free time. And my stepdad works for Air Canada, so I can fly wicked cheap on standby, kind of wherever.
Awesome.
So I messaged Gregory, and Sloan's manager, Mike, and was like, hey, I'm going to be in Toronto during this week when you guys are playing this beer festival. Like, do you want a trumpet player? And they're like, yeah, sure. So I booked a flight to Toronto.
For the show.
So I wasn't really actually going to be there, but I didn't want to be like, hey, I'll fly out there if you want, just like, so I lied a little bit.
And then explain even more about your dad and just get right into it.
So, so went out to Toronto to just go play with them at this beer fest because I wanted to. And then while I was there, they're like, hey, we're going to be playing on the island for this marijuana festival later in the summer. Do you want to come to that too? And I was like, heck yes, I do. And we ended up opening for Lil Kim, which again is like, what?
That's a weird match for sure. Yeah.
It made no sense. It went Dayglow Abortions, Sloan, Lil Kim.
Oh man, diverse. It's a marijuana festival.
Yeah, exactly.
It kind of works.
That was the only thing that kind of made sense. So yeah, I got to play with them 3 times. But in between the first and second time I played with Sloan, I got to play with Adele when she was here.
Whoa.
Yeah, so the part of the contract I had to sign with her was I wasn't allowed to do like promotion of myself kind of like around it. It's like 2-3 years out. I think we're safe now.
Right.
But
that makes sense because I feel like this is the first that I'm hearing of this.
Yeah, so I wasn't allowed to like really broadcast it. But same deal. This happens relatively often where she was touring with her band and with her orchestra. We're all from LA. But the horns, they wanted an all-female horn section. But they were hiring them in every city. We almost got to go to Seattle too, but they didn't get their paperwork sorted out. Burping.
Okay, well, that's awesome. I didn't know that. I kind of want to go backwards here. Did you get to meet Adele?
No, that was also part of the contract. It's just like, she will not be spoken to unless you speak to her first. Don't make eye contact.
No, really?
A little bit. Like,
well, it's got to be weird. These are like some pretty, massive stars that people probably freak out around them.
I wasn't insulted or surprised even really.
So how close were you when on stage?
Oh man, the best part was sound check. Let me see, maybe how far, maybe to like the end of the sidewalk there.
The
like
first
how
sidewalk?
far? Yeah.
Oh, really?
Like
Okay.
where the sidewalk meets the street over there.
Okay, so we're looking at about 12 to 15 feet here from Adele. It's amazing.
So sound check was the coolest because she's like not done up at all. She's just wearing this kind of like tarpy black number. And she's just sitting there. At first I thought it was like a stand-in or just like a recording or something because it was just like so perfect sounding. And then she was just such like such a hobo over there. I'm going to get in trouble. But yeah, and then she just starts singing. And she's like, hello. And I'm like, holy crap. Like she was amazing. Like even in sound check, it was unbelievable. I took my in-ear monitors out at a point because I wanted to be able to say that like I heard Adele singing like out of her mouth, like not through
for sure.
not through a speaker or anything. Like I
and
heard
especially
her just,
with
like,
her power from 15 feet away, you're going to hear her.
It was so cool. So cool.
Okay, so now we know she's not up there singing to track.
No, she's super, super authentic. Just like a real awesome person.
I think one of the best female singers on the radio in the last, decade. Maybe one of the best singers in general.
And just watching her play with the crowd too, like her crowd work. She likes
the banter, right? She's got a potty mouth.
She's so funny. And like, I was just like over the moon. That was a huge paradigm shift for me, really. Like that was a game changer. Where I saw all the people she collected from making something up out of thin air.
Right.
She's made shit up. And look at all the people that like are so moved.
So this is, I'm guessing, at Rogers Arena, and I'm guessing packed.
Yeah, 2 sold out nights at Rogers Arena.
You played both shows?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was so sweet.
So what is that like to be up there and...
Oh, it's nuts. Like there were some periods where I had to just sit on the stage, but I wasn't playing for a while because you have to wait for like the...
Oh, were you up there the whole time?
Not the whole time, but they were... Like if I was going to play on one song and then 3 songs later, like I'd have to just kind of sit there. And then there was that song Rumor Has It, we're supposed to just do all this like leg clapping stuff.
Okay.
And so there's like weird choreography that we were doing.
That's her first big hit, right? That's her first big one, yeah.
This is actually funny. The woman who was giving me my outfit or whatever, she's explaining this clapping choreography, and she's like, "It's not a big deal. It's like it's really easy. Don't worry about it. It's not going to be a big deal." And then I turned to the other horn players, and I'm just like, "Not when I'm through with it." And the horror on her face, I'm like, "Don't worry, I'm not going to do anything crazy. I'm going to steal the show from Adele." But yeah, she was
That is amazing. That is when you look out into an audience that size, does that just give you even more energy to think, wow, but that's what I mean.
Like,
how this is done.
So yeah, there were periods on there where I knew I was done playing, especially the second night where I really knew what was going on. So I took my in-ears out to just experience the concert like everyone else was. Because in your in-ears you hear like what's a song? It's like Skyfall, 1, 2, 3, 4. I was like there's all this like weird in-ear cuey kind of stuff going on in your ears, and you're hearing
are you hearing the same in-ear monitoring that the drummer would be listening to?
Yeah,
okay, so everybody's sharing a little bit of...
So I'm hearing like clicks and all, I'm hearing other stuff. So when I knew that I wasn't playing anymore, but I couldn't leave the stage, I just took my in-ears out so I could just like watch the show from on the stage. It's so cool. But that crowd was so loud. Like I had to put my in-ears back in to use as earplugs sometimes when people were screaming so loud. Like it's nuts. There were so many people. That was so cool.
Now, yeah, because I remember, you're in wrong, and you're also, and I gave this a heavy listen today, Russian Tim and the Pavel Bures.
It was just Russian Tim and Pavel Bure.
Wow, those recordings are amazing. That is
so fun.
Stuart.
Yeah, at Rain City.
At Rain City.
McKillop from Daggermouth.
And you're playing guitar on those recordings.
Yeah, that I'm playing like rhythm guitar. Julia is playing lead. And then, Sergey on drums, Ilya on bass, and then a Russian team.
Nice. So what is it? What attracts you to working with the different people? How do you decide? I'm pretty sure there are many bands that would love to have you in their band in Vancouver. How do you decide what bands you're going to pick and choose, or who you want to play with?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's like it's a combination.
That's the first good question today.
it's a combination of definitely like a couple of factors. Timing is a big one. How much I happen to have on my plate at that particular time plays a huge part. Tim, in particular, kind of tricked me. He didn't do it on purpose, but it was supposed to just be a one-off.
Okay.
And then it was just so well received, and it was so fun that we kept it going. But yeah, timing is a big one. And kind of what I mentioned earlier is I will listen to the music, and if I like it, I will try to make space for it. But if it's not interesting or exciting or weird, I feel like I'm picky and I'm particular. And if it's just like a regular kind of run-of-the-mill thing, like I can't commit to something like that. I'm like, you can hire me in and I'll pop in and play a couple shows here and there if you want. And I'm getting more and more picky as the time goes by.
For sure. Definitely the great bands are when people find each other and they share, a similar type of caliber musicianship.
I think that, so music school taught me a lot about, like, first of all, there's one thing about being in the room with people who can kind of perform at your musical technical level. There's that. But so much is the chemistry of the personalities in the room.
Right.
If you can all like enjoy yourself, that's what I love about. Wrong is just like the best because they're my favorite people. Everybody gets along. Everybody's got a great sense of humor. We're all laughing all the time, and everybody shreds.
Right.
I better do something pretty cool.
Perfect. I got so many little good sound bites in there. That's awesome. Okay, so I think we're done. So so that's it. Thank you. Yeah, awesome. Boom, we did it.
Well, one thing that I did want to say real quick.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Was about that glass ceiling. And it was that I felt like I reached a point where I really truly believed that I wasn't going to get invited to that big table that I wanted to get invited to. So I had to build my own. So I'm building my own table right now, Marco.
Thank you so much, Kristy, and thank you for listening and sharing this podcast. Please check for links on everything discussed. We just talked about music,